Well, this week, a records request to the City of Wichita results in data as well as insight into the city's attitude towards empowering citizens with data. Here's what happened. One of the reforms in government over the past several decades are open records laws. At the federal level, it's called the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA. States generally have their own versions of the law. In Kansas, it's known as the Kansas Open Records Act, or KORA. These laws give citizens the right to inspect or receive certain government records such as contracts, checks, correspondence, and the like. A few months ago, I asked the City of Wichita for checkbook spending records, and I received data for 2015 through September 25th, which was when I made the request. And I've made the data available to the public on my website in a visualization using Tableau Public. And by using this visualization, you can do things like sort and drill down on the data and generally explore to see what's there. Well, analyzing and understanding this data does require a bit of local knowledge. For example, there is a vendor named Visit Wichita that started to receive monthly payments in March. Well, what about January and February? Well, payments for those months were made to a vendor named Go Wichita, which then changed its name to Visit Wichita. And similarly, there are payments made to both Westar Energy and Westar Energy EDI. These are the same entities, just as Visit Wichita and Go Wichita are the same entity. And to the city's credit, the matching pairs have the same vendor number, which is good, but resolving that requires a different level of analysis. And there are some interesting entities. For example, the city usually sends a few $100s per month to the Kansas Turnpike Authority. That seems reasonable as city employees travel on the turnpike. Then in July, the city paid $3.7 million to the Turnpike Authority. And a quick search of City Council agenda packets did not reveal any reason for this. So it would be good to know why the city paid this money to the Turnpike. And I'm not suggesting any malfeasance, I'm just curious, as I hope you are, because that's a significant amount that was spent. And one of the things about making data available is that perhaps citizens will become interested in knowing more about their government and will ask these types of questions. Of note, it looks like there were 474 checks issued in the amount of $20 or less. And Bank of America has estimated that the cost of sending a business check ranges from $4 to $20. So the city may often spend, say, $10 in order to pay someone $8. Now, the city supplied this data to me in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and in an arrangement that can easily be analyzed in Excel or loaded into other programs. This is a step forward. 2 years ago, when I requested similar spending records, Wichita could supply data of only limited utility. What was supplied to me was data in PDF form as images, not text. Even using optical character recognition, it would be difficult to translate the image data into machine-readable text, and even more difficult to reorganize it to a useful format or arrangement for analysis. Also, I had to pay $24 to the city for this data. That's a problem, because it is by now routine for government agencies to post spending data like this, but not at the City of Wichita. And when I inquired, city officials told me that the present financial management system does not include any modern system features such as an open checkbook. Well, an open checkbook refers to a modern web interface where citizens can query for specific data and perhaps perform other analysis. An example is Denver's open checkbook. Now, while the next generation Wichita financial system will probably have such a feature, an open checkbook, there is no reason why citizens cannot experience some of the benefits now. The spreadsheet of spending data like that I paid for could easily be posted on the city's website on a monthly basis. It would take just a moment each month to do that. And people will take that data and make it more useful, as I did. There is no reason why this should not be happening. Now, when I learned of the fee for these records, I asked for a waiver, sending this request to the city's record official. I wrote, "I'd like to ask for a waiver of the requested fee." I ask because this check register data is an example of records that many governmental agencies make freely available on their websites. The Wichita Public School District and Sedgwick County are two local examples. I also wrote that I'd like to also call attention to the United States Freedom of Information Act, which allows for fee waivers in some circumstances. That act says fee waivers are limited to situations in which a requester can show that the disclosure of the requested information is in the public interest because it is likely to contribute significantly to public understanding of the operations activities of the government and is not primarily in the commercial interest of the requester. Well, I suggested to the city that the records I am requesting will indeed contribute significantly to public understanding of the operations and activities of the government, and that it is, in fact, in the public interest of the people of Wichita that these records be freely available. Well, I received an answer. It said, "Your request for waiver of fees is denied. KORA, that's the Kansas Open Records Act, allows fees to be collected prior to finding and producing the document that you seek. The extensive statute setting out how fees are to be determined does not contain any provision for waiver in the manner you suggest. The city will provide the document to you upon payment as invoice. Sincerely, J. Hinkle, Deputy City Attorney." And that's the response I got from the City of Wichita. And I have to say, Mr. Hinkle is absolutely 100% correct. Governmental agencies in Kansas have the right to charge for records, and the Kansas statutes do not mention the waiving of fees, as do the federal statutes. But the Kansas Open Record Act does not require cities to charge for providing records, especially for records that the city should already be providing for free on its website. And especially when citizens are willing to take that data and make it better at no charge to the city. So Mr. Hinkle provided a lawyer's answer. Here, however, is the public policy the city promotes from a Wichita City News release from 2013. It says, "The City Council has stressed the importance of transparency for this organization," City Manager Robert Layton said, and went on to say that we will continue to empower and engage citizens by providing information necessary to keep them informed on the actions their government is taking on their behalf. Okay, did you hear that? The city talked about the importance of transparency. The city says it wants to empower and engage citizens by providing information. Well, I offered to contribute significantly to public understanding of the operations and activities of the government, but I had to pay to do so. And when I asked city officials for clarification of why I had to pay to receive these records, the city's communications staff told me I should note that the city has won multiple awards for openness and citizen participation, but city leaders recognize this work is never done. They strive each and every day to become more open and transparent and will continue to do so. Well, I just have to disagree. This, what the city has done, is not open and transparent government. This is not how to empower and engage the people of Wichita, not even close. The city has a lot of work to do regarding making records and information available to citizens. But the rhetoric coming from City Hall leads me to believe that our elected officials and bureaucrats think they are doing a good job. If they truly believe that, well, we have a big problem. And if they don't believe that, why are they not being truthful with us? And on this topic, I have to confess that I owe Uncle Sam an apology. In January, I requested records from the United States Department of Energy. And a few weeks ago, when Congressman Mike Pompeo was the guest here on Wichita Liberty TV, I mentioned how I had not yet received my records. Well, a look back through my email found that I had received the records in August, so I apologize for overlooking that. And as you can see in this example page from the records I received, the government has the right to withhold or redact certain types of information. That's the purpose of all the black boxes. Many of the pages I received are almost totally black. What was not redacted is the type of information that can easily be found at other sources. So the value of the 114 pages I received in response to my records request is practically nothing. At the local level, the City of Wichita and its surrogates have used loopholes in the Kansas Open Records Act to exclude entire classes of records from release to the public. That's a problem, and one that so far the Kansas legislature has been unwilling to address.